Hello, 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 everyone, and welcome to Kick the Sugar webinar. This has been a long time coming. I have been working on this webinar for the past few weeks as a result of my experience about a year ago. So I'm going to go ahead and jump right into it. So, what will we cover in this webinar? We're going to cover what's so bad about sugar anyway, how to find hidden sugars, what happens to your body when you feed it too much sugar, what happens to your brain when it's on the sweet stuff, the not so sweet facts about artificial sweeteners, are healthy sugars like agave better? Practical ways to kick sugar so you can naturally lose weight and feel better. Underlying drivers of sugar cravings and how I can help you. And a fun exercise at the end and time for Q&A if we have time. Okay, so let's go ahead and jump right into it. About me. Hello, everyone. I am Yolanda Bennett Lynn, a dedicated health enthusiast and fitness influencer, passionate about helping busy women achieve their wellness goals. Now, as a teacher, a mother, and a fitness instructor, I know firsthand the challenges of maintaining a healthy lifestyle while juggling multiple responsibilities. And if you have been on my YouTube channel for the past 9 years, then you know this firsthand. Now, my journey to better health took a pivotal turn when I went to the doctor for my annual checkup about 12 months ago. And I got the checkup, I got some blood work done, and it revealed that I was pre diabetic. Now, this was alarming news, and it made me realize the urgent need for me to make some significant changes to my diet and my lifestyle, especially regarding my sugar intake. So, why did I stop eating sugar? I didn't totally cut out the sugar. I had to get educated about sugar, right? So I want to clarify that and give that disclaimer. So I didn't totally stop eating sugar, but I needed to be educated about sugar and all of the sugars that are detrimental to my health. So cutting out sugar, it was not an easy decision, but it was a necessary one for my health. I realized that sugar was contributing to my fatigue, my weight gain, and other health issues. So by removing sugar, I experienced a significant boost in my energy. I got clearer skin and it improved my mental clarity. Most importantly, my blood sugar levels returned to a healthy range, reducing my risk of developing diabetes. So that was huge for me. So my personal transformation, it inspired me to share my journey with others and help them overcome similar challenges. So through my Kick the Sugar initiative, I aim to educate and motivate women to take control of their health by reducing their sugar intake and embracing a healthier lifestyle. So in these transformation photos you see here, I was 180 pounds. And through the process of me kicking the sugar, incorporating healthier eating habits, and of course, working out, which I've always done, I was able to drop the weight. And in this photo, I am 149 pounds. Now, in this photo, I'm about 173, 75 pounds. So between the 180 and the 173, what happened was I gained some weight back, right? I fell off the bandwagon, which we do, right? So it's okay to fall off. What matters is that you get back on. And so I had gotten back up to 173, 75 pounds. And then I was able to drop the weight again. Okay. So I just want you guys to see that transformation. So, what is sugar? Sugar is the general name for sweet tasting carbohydrates and is found in all types of food. All types of food. I must reiterate that because it's not just the desserts, the cakes, the cookies, and things that we eat when people think that. Different types are fructose, that's in fruit, lactose in milk, maltose in grains. All carbs and sugars break down to glucose, which our cells use to make energy. Now, this workshop webinar isn't about no carb or worrying about the sugars in whole foods like carrots. We are focusing on the quality of the sugar we are eating, limiting refined sugar and hidden sugars, as reducing these is the first step to kick sugar. So, what is refined sugar? When you think of sugar, you likely think of the white crystalline powder known as table sugar or sucrose. This is the refined sugar made from sugarcane or the sugar beet plant. Sugar production strips all the minerals and vitamins from the plant, creating a white crystalline powder that's often genetically modified or covered in unsafe herbicides. And it's this type of sugar that we are eating too much of. So today, sugar dominates our food supply. It's in biscuits, bread, cakes, soft drinks, and it's also in tomato sauce. Did you not know that? It is in the ketchup that we put on our fries. It's in salad dressing, marinades. We like eating those pastas. Well, it's in there. Rice bubbles, and even in toothpaste, guys. Sugar is in toothpaste. So you want to take a look at the back of your toothpaste. So here are some ways that sugar is disguised. Some of the things that we eat that have sugar in them: barley malt, beet sugar, brown sugar, buttered syrup, cane juice crystals, cane sugar, caramel, carob syrup, corn syrup solids. I'm not going to read them all, but sugar is there and we don't realize it's there because it's hiding in these things. Grape sugar, high fructose corn syrup, honey, invert sugar, lactose, malt syrup, you name it, sugar is there. So high fructose corn syrup, that is found in soft drinks and processed foods. A byproduct of corn manufacturing, it is sweeter and cheaper than glucose. It's processed by our liver, leading to non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. I'm going to repeat that. Processed by the liver, it leads to non-alcoholic fatty liver disease and an increase in triglycerides and cholesterol. So high fructose corn syrup also increases our intestinal permeability, leading to inflammation, allergies, irritable bowel syndrome, and autoimmune diseases. It drives obesity like nothing else. We are drinking our ways. We are drinking our way to the hospital. So if you are drinking these soft drinks and these sweet teas and things like that, stop it. You want to avoid it like it is the plague. Low sugar humans. So our genes evolved in a low sugar world, guys. Our ancestors, right? They did not eat a bunch of sugar, right? They ate complex carbs, fats, and proteins. 20 teaspoons of sugar a year compared to up to 17 teaspoons a day that we are eating right now. Now, how is that possible? It's because back in that time, they didn't have access to sugar like that. Everything was pretty much natural that they were eating. Insulin is our fat storage hormone. Insulin was designed to store away any extra glucose as fat in times of plenty for when food was scarce. I'm going to repeat that. Insulin was designed to store away any of the extra glucose as fat in times of plenty for when food was scarce. So, back to the future. Now, we have 24/7 supermarkets with sugar-laden shelves. Everywhere you look, there is sugar, 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 sugar. I promise you now, after this webinar, as you are looking around in the store, you are going to be a sugar detective. You are going to be like, oh my goodness, there is sugar, there is sugar. You're going to be turning the boxes around, checking the nutrition label. There is no winter, no famine, no long hikes to find food or calorie burning mammoth hunts, right? Our ancestors had to do that to find food. They didn't have a supermarket to go to with a whole bunch of sugar laden products. So that's why they did not eat sugar the way that we eat it. We're still the same as our ancestors. We are very well designed to store excess sugar as fat. We have a more sedentary lifestyle now. We are more chronically stressed than they were, and we don't sleep enough, and we eat too much sugar. So what sugar does to your brain and body? Let's take a look at it. Now, a healthy diet is the production of glucose, and it tells your brain to produce insulin, which helps your body regulate the blood sugar. And it also interacts with other hormones to help you feel satiated, meaning that you are not feeling hungry, right? But when it's off balance, you're going to feel hungry and you're going to go for the sugar. And I'm not going to go into details about this slide, but you can actually screenshot it. and just pay attention to what it is that you are being educated about when you are eating too much sugar. For example, too much sugar starts to create insulin resistance, which causes people to crave more food, especially sugar. And this is what contributes to diabetes. So please, please, please take a note of that. Sugar consumption is linked to cavities, bacteria in your mouth, feed on sugar, and then produce enamel destroying acid. So that's why a lot of people who eat a lot of sugar, especially children, they get cavities and they lose their teeth at an early age, right? Fructose is metabolized by the liver. That's why too much sugar can inflame your liver and is associated with non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. So you want to be careful of that. So sugar depletes your body of precious nutrients because all the vitamins, minerals, and fiber have been stripped from refined sugar. Your body has to pull on its own reserves of vitamins and minerals to break down the sugar. Sugar impacts our body in 3 different ways. It weakens our immune system because it suppresses our white blood cells for up to 5 hours. It also leads to more chronic infections. It also affects our cardiovascular system by creating cardiovascular disease. Sugar contributes to inflammation and it damages the blood vessel walls. It also makes you hypoglycemic. Who gets hangry if they haven't eaten? I know I do, right? Fatigue, lack of concentration, mood swings, shaking, sweating can be signs of a blood sugar imbalance. So when you start to feel these symptoms, think about the fact that you may be suffering from an abundance of sugar, right? Having an abundance or wanting and craving for the sugar, actually. It also can lead to type 2 diabetes. Receptors no longer respond to the insulin produced in the pancreas, and cells are less able to get energy from the food that we eat. Sugar leads to depression. Sugar messes with our serotonin levels. And of course, sugar creates weight gain. I can't stress that enough, right? Remember those cavemen and the insulin? Sugar triggers the release of insulin, which is our right? Which is ours. So sugar impacts our body also by increasing our risk of cancer. So a major European study found women with high blood sugar levels are at an increased risk of developing cancers of the pancreas, cancer of the skin, cancer of the uterus, and cancer of the urinary tract. So high blood sugar was also linked to breast cancer for women under 49 years of age. So are you addicted to sugar? You bet you are. Sugar is more addictive than cocaine. When we eat foods that contain a lot of sugar, a massive amount of dopamine is released in the brain's reward center. Guys, I know the effect on me when I eat a lot of sugar. I get an extreme headache from it. I get an extreme headache because I have decreased the amount of sugar that I eat on a daily basis. Those times when I decide, okay, well, it's just this one time and I'm at an event and I eat too much sugar, I get an extreme headache. So that definitely caters to what's being said here. Now, dopamine is our pleasure neurotransmitter. It causes powerful feelings of pleasure and relaxation. If we keep eating sugar, our brain, it downregulates the dopamine receptors. We need even more sugar to feel good like before. Now, you can be on a blood sugar roller coaster, right? So you have a meal without a generous amount of healthy fat. Then you get into panic mode, right? So now your insulin is increased, you've increased your fat storage, you get anxiety, you get mood swings, you get brain fog, and then you go back down into that panic mode where you get an increase in your cortisol. So that's the stress regulator, right? You get an increase in your fatigue, your sugar, caffeine, alcohol cravings. They start, you get brain fog again. And you go through this roller coaster every day. It's up and down and up and down and up and down. I don't like roller coasters. I don't know about y'all. I don't even get on rides. So I know I don't want to be on a blood sugar roller coaster, okay? Sugar is stressful. The blood sugar roller coaster causes enormous biological and chemical stress on your body and your brain. It's like you're running away from a tiger all the time. You're constantly running. This constant stress ages the brain and the body. I can't stress enough. Of course, we know which will be talked about, but if your brain is aging, guess what? You're getting closer and closer to dementia and Alzheimer's because of this sugar. It contributes to disease, as you now know, Alzheimer's and dementia, and of course, cancer. So, the one thing that will have the biggest impact on your health is to get off the roller coaster and have balanced blood sugar. So, kicking this sugar is key to your weight loss, having more energy, better sleep, less stress, healthier digestion, happy hormones, overcoming cravings, a strong immune system, balanced moods, no more dieting, clear skin, and reducing the risk of chronic disease. So, what are artificial sweeteners? Artificial sweeteners are things like saccharin, aspartame, sucralose, products like Splenda and Equal. They're found in diet foods like soft drinks, yogurts, chewing gum. So get off of those diet Cokes and those diet Pepsis, right? They are not good for you. A research published in 2017 has shown that artificial sweeteners actually increase your blood sugar, contribute to obesity, increase your risk for type 2 diabetes and high blood pressure over time. They're also carcinogenic, meaning that they lead to cancer, in case you need another reason to avoid drinking the artificial sweetness. So, everything they were apparently created to avoid, they're actually causing in your body. Now, what are the healthy sugars? Honey, molasses, maple syrup, agave, medjool, dates. On one hand, healthier options as they are less refined and still contain vitamins and minerals. On the other hand, sugar is sugar. So they still break down quickly to glucose and they will cause a spike in your blood sugar and your insulin response. So be very mindful, right? Be very mindful as you are eating the healthy sugars, especially if you are juicing. If you are juicing a whole bunch of fruits and you're like, oh my goodness, I made this tasty natural juice drink, you're drinking sugar water. So please be mindful of that if you are someone who loves to juice. Healthy sugars. So still watch out how much of these that you eat. And now, what about stevia? Some people use stevia. It seems okay so far. It's natural and it's derived from the leaf of the stevia plant, and it doesn't appear to impact insulin levels. So, no research is out there right now that says that stevia is unhealthy for you. So, let me give you 7 tips to kick the sugar and curb your cravings. Tip number 1 is drink water. Often sweet cravings are a sign of dehydration. So drink a large glass of water, wait 5 minutes, and then see if you still have that craving. This is like the secret to decreasing your cravings for sugar. Also, too much caffeine mimics a blood sugar crash. You're high for a bit, but then you're coming crashing down and you crave sugar even more. I got off of regular coffee maybe 6 months, almost a year ago. I've been drinking the mushroom coffee. I've been using a non-sugar creamer, which also has mushrooms in it. That may be a way that you want to go, but it definitely works for me. And the same thing with alcohol, right? You don't want to be drinking alcohol because it is sugar laden as well. So again, go ahead and drink some water when you start to crave the sugar, you start to crave the caffeine, you start to crave a drink. If you're someone who has to have a glass of wine every day when you come home from work, stop it. Go ahead and drink some water. Tip number 2 is sweet plants. Your tongue has sweet taste buds that demand to be satisfied. So try naturally sweet foods and spices like pumpkins, sweet potatoes, carrots, beetroots, berries. Apples is my number 1 go-to. Cinnamon, coriander, nutmeg, cloves, and cardamom. Apples are my go-to, guys. Just yesterday, I was craving some sugar and I came into the kitchen and my mother-in-law has some cookies in here. And I said, no, I'm going to eat the apple. And I ate the apple and it secured me and it kept me from craving any more sugar. Tip number 3, sleep, 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 sleep. If you're constantly tired, your body is going to look for energy, usually in the form of sugar or caffeine. Go to bed an hour early than usual for a week and see if your cravings disappear. You have to get yourself into a ritual to help you through these cravings. Tip number 4 is protein. Eat protein foods with every meal and snack. Think eggs and avocado on sourdough instead of cereal for breakfast. Protein slows the absorption of glucose, so we don't get that big spike up. We don't get involved in that roller coaster, right? We don't get on that ride. It makes us feel satisfied for longer. I can't stress. I have mixed nuts. I carry them with me in my purse. Just go ahead and eat some protein. It's going to help you. A good protein rich breakfast does wonders to curb those 3 p.m. sugar cravings. Tip number 5 is eat full fat. I know that sounds kind of cliche, kind of sounds like it's opposite of what we're trying to do here. But when food manufacturers take the fat out of foods, what do they put in it? Yep, they put sugar in it. So remember this saying, read low fat, think chemical storm, right? That is what's going to happen. So you think you're doing yourself some justice by eating low fat when you're really not. Tip number 6 is move more. Movement is essential. It releases stress, it burns up glucose, and it lowers the insulin. Plus, it produces endorphins. It boosts your serotonin, which makes you feel happy, making us happier, right? When you don't get enough, the body starts to look for other ways to blow off steam, like binging on sugar. So make sure you get up, get those 10,000 steps in a day, go walk on a treadmill, get you a walking pad, go outside on the track, whatever you need to do, but make sure that you move more. Tip number 7 is new rituals. If you're a dessert after your meal type of person, one of the things you love about this is because it's your ritual. Oh, now I need something sweet. I can't say how many times, count on my fingers, how many times I've heard people say, okay, now it's time for me to eat something sweet after they've eaten their meal. Change your post-meal ritual. Change it to something else. Okay, now it's time for me to drink this tea. This green tea is for me to get ready to wind down, as opposed to, or now it's time for me to just eat a few grapes or eat an apple or whatever. Change it. Do not eat the cake, the cookies, the brownies, or whatever it is, the sweet thing that you think you have to eat, because it has become a ritual for you. Now, let's talk about conquering your cravings. You want to start to eat mindfully. So before we talk about the cravings, we have an experiential exercise that we're going to do together, right? Binge eating and emotional eating happen on autopilot. They happen. So you want to start to get yourself in a mindset. Get yourself in the mindset of eating mindfully. Eating mindfully is one way to become more conscious and change this behavior. So you see this right here. It says, think before you eat. That's what you want to start doing. So if you're not someone who does meal prep, then you want to go ahead and start to do it, or kind of sort of do it, because I'll do it and I'll meal prep for maybe 4 or 5 days. I won't do it for 7. And then the other days I'll make sure that I'm mindfully eating, that I'm thinking about what it is that I'm going to eat. I'll wake up and I'll say, well, this is what I'm going to have for breakfast if I'm not fasting. Most times I don't do breakfast because I'm fasting. And this is what I'm going to have for lunch. And I kind of prepare myself mentally for what my day is going to look like as far as what I'm eating. So here is a mindful eating exercise. You can do it with, of course, we have a strawberry here. You can do it with an apple, a banana, whatever it is. You got some grapes, whatever you're going to do. You want to look at the strawberry. You want to smell it. Imagine what it's going to taste like. Close your eyes. Take a small bite and really concentrate on the taste of the strawberry, the texture in your mouth, any sounds that it may make as you chew it. Seeds popping and crunching. Smell the strawberry again. Now that you've bitten it, what can you notice? Take another bite. As you chew it, does it become sweeter? Okay, you can eat the rest of it now. This is something you want to start doing so that you get more comfortable with eating healthy, right? That you look more forward to it and you're not thinking about the unhealthy sugar. Now, the cravings. What are your biggest cravings when it comes to sugar? Think about what it is that you crave the most. Are you someone who craves a Snicker bar, or a Nestle Crunch bar, or a Twix, or or whatever it is, some chocolate cookies, oatmeal cookies? What time of the day is it when you start to feel this? Like, you can't expect what you don't inspect. So you really have to inspect when these cravings are happening so that you can prepare yourself to deal with them. How do you try to curb those cravings? What is it that you are doing? Are you listening to some music? Are you finding something to keep you occupied? Are you drinking water, right? How do you feel if you give in and you eat the sugar? Do you feel terrible? Because I feel terrible after I do it. Or do you feel happy that you actually satisfied that craving? If that's the case, then yeah, you definitely need to practice a lot more with the mindful eating. So, willpower is not enough. Willpower won't work. Willpower is a finite resource. We only have so much of it each day. We exhausted on so many other things, getting out of the cozy bed in the morning, waiting patiently in line, finishing a task that we hate doing. We use all of our willpower up on those things. By the time 3 p.m. rolls around and we need to rely on willpower not to eat that cake, we're all out of willpower. So you cannot depend 100% on your willpower. Deprivation won't work. Being super strict and depriving ourselves does not work either. What happens when you say you are never eating sugar again? You start to crave it even more because it kind of works in the opposite. What you think about, right? You start to get attracted by the opposite of it, right? So especially if you are addicted or you're an emotional eater, remember dopamine, right? If your own brain, you are trying to fight against your own brain here, you cannot win. So please don't try to use deprivation. Tough love won't work. Some people punish themselves for being weak and giving in to cravings. They might work out more at the gym to compensate for it. You cannot outwork a bad diet. I know you've seen it. You cannot outwork a bad diet. They may say awful things to themselves, feel guilty or ashamed. They may not eat dinner to make up for their earlier binge. I'm gonna tell y'all a little secret. That's what my husband does. Like he'll punish himself by not eating his next meal. Doesn't work. This approach doesn't work. So what does? Cravings are messengers. Cravings are the body trying to communicate a need or a desire. When you're not happy with an area of your life, it's sometimes so much easier to reach for sugar than to deal with what's really going on. So, anytime you feel you're reaching for food to self medicate, it's time to step back and listen. Ask yourself, what am I really hungry for? Am I overwhelmed with my work schedule? Am I overwhelmed with something that's going on with my children? Am I overwhelmed with something that's happening within my relationship? That is really what the issue is, right? So you want to address that in order to keep yourself from initiating to eat the sugar to kind of help you out with what you're really going through. So, what do you really crave? Underneath that craving is usually an emotion that you're trying to avoid. It's your body seeking to balance itself. The more you ignore it, the stronger your craving will become. So, are you low on dopamine? Does your life lack joy and pleasure so you seek it through sugar? Are you taking time out for yourself? That is very important. Are you being hard on yourself about something that's happening? So other reasons may be we also need to check for underlying reasons you crave sugar. Insulin resistance and diabetes, hormonal imbalances, sex hormones, cortisol, your thyroid, anxiety and mental health, some gut infections, poor nutrition and nutrition deficiencies. That this is something that you may need help from your physician from. You may need to go and have a couple of tests run so that you can see what is the underlying reason for why you are constantly craving sugar, because it could be illness, right? It could be disease. So you definitely want to go and check that out. So this concludes my presentation on kicking the sugar. Guys, go ahead and follow me on Instagram if you are not already following me. My Ultimate Fat Loss Program is being released July 29, 2024. So if you are watching this after that date, it has already launched. You want to go ahead and jump on over there and get the program. I am teaching you how to transform your body efficiently. I'm teaching you how to achieve lasting results with short workouts and sustainable eating. I help busy women to create the health and the fitness that they desire and transforming their body as well through short workouts and sustainable eating. You do not have to spend hours in the gym. So go ahead and head on over there so you can join the wait list, because right now, today is July 11th. So the wait list has opened up. So you want to go on over there and join my wait list by clicking the link in my bio, or by actually commenting with the word email. Comment the word email and you will receive the link to actually join the wait list or to actually launch the program yourself. I'll see you guys on the next webinar.